We are into the picks and bans, so straight away things are getting underway. Draven banned out by Gambit, taking it away from Hosan, and Thresh, of course, taken away from Ed Ward.
Of course, instantly just targeted bans. They don't want them to have their comfort picks, don't want to have Edward playing that Thresh, and they obviously don't want Hosan to have that big impact on the game, the early matchups in the form of Draven. We've been seeing Meluna playing a lot of job on the fourth and immediately just taking that away from him, forcing him onto a different jungler. We have to note out that both Volibear and Nasus are still available. Diamond Prox has played Nasus in 9 games out of his team's 20, so approaching half of his games on one single champion.
Well, there is the KO ban taken away from Shushay and Nasus taken, so Volibear almost certainly going to get picked up. Will it be the first choice, though? No, it's looking like it may well be Shen.
So if Darren is going to lock in Shen, he's arguably the strongest Shen player in Europe, and it's one of the most contested picks. Every single top laner across all of the teams in EU have been playing a lot of Shen, and Darren is one of the strongest players. You can see big smiles on the faces there of Gambit as they're flicking through the picks. And, you know, we had a little bit of a chance to talk to some of the members leading up to this, and they were definitely mentioning how KDAs of later matches, you know, Dude was important. I wonder what they're planning for a game like this, where it's 2nd versus 8th. They're so far the favorites, but, you know, they can't take Dragonborns lightly.
But, you know, we could also talk about the fact that Complexity went and beat Dignitas when it was 8th versus 1st. Copenhagen Wolves beat Fnatic when it was 8th versus 1st. So these things do happen. Not very often, but it's happened twice this season in 2 different leagues, so why the hell not again? Zed looks like it may well get locked in here by Dragonborns, and, you know, they've realized that, you know, they're not likely to get out of that bottom 2 positions, so they've decided it's time to really try gambles. This is probably something they maybe should have tried a little earlier in the season, to start trying a few of those crazy strategies. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, but I'm not sure it's always doable if you haven't practiced it.
So Dragonborns now are in a position where they can be the heartbreakers in the league. They can take people's positions away. They can deny them from finishing in a spot where they'd like to. But we do need to talk about, if the Z is locked in, which it has been, Kha'Zix is still available for Alex if he decides to go that route. We've also seen him playing a number of times Twisted Fate when they were playing against the Copenhagen Wolves. He got absolutely dominated in the mid lane by Bjergsen's Z, but it didn't matter. He said, feed strat, I go 0-6, and we win the game because it was the map that he was playing. So I would expect to see one of those 2 champions being locked in. We see that sooOn has been locked in for Movet, so we already know who the support player is, and it gives you a lot of CC, but those crescendos are going to have to be really, really focused from Movet, and he's just a support that hasn't really shone up till date.
I think the players are actually trolling Genja. They keep selecting Ashe for him. They keep pointing to Gosh, going, you're going to have Ashe. You're going to have Ashe. And he's like, no, I don't want Ashe. I want Misfortune. So Misfortune and Kha'Zix locked in. Of course, just as you mentioned, Kha'Zix countering Zed, or not so much countering, Alex Ich countering Zed.
There we go. You know, it's a comfort pick. It's a comfort pick there for Alex. He's played so much Kha'Zix. Got the pentakill last weekend, which we do have to remind everybody about. Dramatic leapfrogging pentakill. And, you know, in terms of Misfortune, 9 games played, 9 victories picked up for Genja. So, again, another comfort pick, 9 out of 20 matches. He knows how to play MF. He likes to play a little bit safer with his AD carries, just relies on the bullet time for the damage in team fights, and obviously it's a very good pickup for him. Yeah, it should work out very well. Udyr currently selected and locked in. Is that going to be a jungler Udyr or a top lane? Which patch when we are on? We're 3.5.
0.5, so that would be a jungle
It's jungle Udyr, and Meluna ran it last weekend as well. So when you were at your wedding, not your wedding,
not my wedding. Don't worry, ladies, I'm still available.
Meluna did run jungle Udyr. It was a fairly good performance, but unfortunately the team is very far behind, so it didn't really have any sort of impact on the matchup. I'd like to see how he's going to play this particular game, because you've got, you know, Kha'Zix going to be hopping straight over his head. You're going to have Shen running protection, and at the moment between Blitzcrank and Lulu are both going to give a lot of protection for Genja's Misfortune. So, you know, it's a difficult champion to get in there. But if he does, he can wreak havoc on the Gambit.
I'm just loving seeing the focus on Edward's face while he flicks through these 2 champions. Look at this. This is pure focus, so he can go to Lulu, Edward, Lulu, Edward, Lulu, Edward. He's really working on it, and now Genja's trying to match him for pace, and it's just not possible. You can't meet the aggressive Edward there, but it does look like it's going to be that Lulu and Volibear combo. And actually, I had the chance to speak to, obviously, Skara about this the other week. Well, obviously, they faced I was about to say face Genja, but they faced Gambit at MLG Dallas, and they said, you know, we never really understood the meaning of the way that it was working out with the combos with the Lulu and the Nasus and the Volibear, and then suddenly they came up against it and went, oh, Now we see how it works, and we see how to counter it, but we see there's such a strong strategy.
Yeah, it's a really, really good combo when you consider the kit that Lulu had. She gives the speed boost to Volibear, then throws the shield on him to land the Glitter Lance at max range. That allows Volibear to get in there with his Rolling Thunder movement speed and the Whimsy, fling somebody backwards, and if anyone gets in the way, you knock up the rest of the team, and you've got this great zone of control that your opponent simply cannot break through and breach. So we've got a lot of comfort picks here for Gambit. The Volibear, Diamond Prox has played 5 times this season with 3 victories, and it's just everybody's on sort of their go-to champions. I still remember Edward tearing apart against All Authority with his Lulu, where I think he went 5-0-7, if I remember correctly, in that matchup, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. So, Gambit looking very comfortable. Dragonborns, though, they've locked in that Orianna right at the end. If they can get some good combos with the Zed and the Orianna to, burst people down, Udyr and Varus will be able to clean house. But it's going to be very, very key on those 2 players to land their damaging abilities in order to control team fights. They don't have the ability to bring in that 5th member, whereas Darien with Stand United obviously does.
So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. If you have just tuned in to the European League of Legends Championship Series, we are on the way for Week 9. Gambit as the blue team and Dragonborns as the red team. Red Pot's being picked up by Alex Ich as well as Yamato Cannon on LCS. On the Dragonborns, sorry, we are on the LCS, that's true. sooOn, though, he went for the armor against Alex Ich there, so full on going defensive at the start.
Yeah, he's really afraid of the pressure that Alex is going to be putting in the early levels, and it immediately signals to you what sooOn's plan is. He wants to try and farm, he wants to try and CS in that lane, as opposed to trying to, bully out his opponent. I feel that if sooOn does play a little bit aggressively, he's actually going to win out at levels 1 and 2 because of the passive, that Clockwork Wind-Up. It deals consecutive magic damage that actually scales with each hit, and it'll really help him out against the melee Alex, who needs some levels and some ability levels before he can really chunk you down.
He's got 34 ability power on there, so must be running a lot of runes, I think, sooOn. So definitely stack those out. Let's see what he can do with it. Doesn't look like we're going to get any level 1 action. As it is, we can see Volibear hanging around that red buff, as is Maluno on Udyr. It looks like he's going to go Wraiths and then red buff. So standard start, no invades, nothing serious coming out. So looking like they're going to go to actually standard meta here as well. We are seeing the Wolves, of course, being picked up by the red team of Dragonborns, and it's also the Golems at the bottom. So they're going to counter each other, make sure nobody hits level 2 early on. We do see Volibear down the bottom of the Golems, though. I
was just about to point that out. So he's standing there, obviously, to share some of the experience, just get a little bit quicker to that level 2. I actually think he may have picked up the last hit on that one. Yes, he does. He's got 1, as well as Genja having 1, because he's halfway to level 2 already. It just means that Diamond Prox is going to hit that level 2 and level 3 a little bit sooner, which means we might actually see some early ganks coming out of Diamond Prox's Volibear. So we'll need to keep a close eye on that minimap to see when he goes in. And Alex has already jumped on sooOn.
Look at that, going full on aggression. That's exactly why sooOn managed to pick up that cloth armor at the start. He knew the aggression would happen, and happened very early on. Alex Ich level 2 already, and their level 2 still not come for sooOn.
So Alex, in that particular situation, he drank the red pot already, went instantly aggressive once he hit level 2, and just forced sooOn to lose a lot of HP. He's down to 1 potion in that mid lane, and if Alex continues to land those void spikes, he's immediately going to get very good control in this mid lane.
Yeah, and only just hitting level 2 there, sooOn. Actually, Talai just did it a moment ago. Diamond Prox does take up the blue, and it looks like he's going to head straight towards that top lane of Yamato Cannon and Darien, and see whether he can get any advantage. Yamato Cannon actually at half health has got that red pot in his pocket. You see him warding out that river, but it's not the river he needs to worry about, because Diamond Prox, he looks like he's going to try and tippy-toe in from the bottom.
Yeah, he does have that ghost available. sooOn gets jumped on in the mid lane, Taste of Fear, but he's just going to be trading. This is just Alex trying to get some control. You can still see that Diamond Prox is hanging around there near that top lane. If he decides to burn his ghost and that Rolling Thunder, he may be able to, close the gap. But Darien will have to open up with that taunt first for that gank to work. It doesn't look like Diamond feels that'll work.
Yeah, it looks like he's had to back off. Alex is continuing to be aggressive, but sooOn, of course, with that ball range of Orianna, that attack ball, he can sit right at the back, which is exactly what he's doing. It does mean he missed one of the CS, though. He's not quite getting it 100% perfect right now. This bottom lane, this is where the aggression also is between the two. Both very aggressive ADs. That's the mid laner going low again there. The pings of sooOn keep getting jumped on by Alex. But as it stands, very even in this bottom lane.
Yeah, CS is staying, very, very close. But this wave is about to push against the Dragonborns, which means they're going to be in that safety zone. They're going to be able to play under the tower for the next couple of minutes. And as long as Hosan and Mover keep the lane here, it's going to play into their favor as far as last hitting and aggression goes. It's going to be up to Maluno to move into this lane and try convert any sort of, you know, presence into maybe some ganks in first blood. Instead, he's just holding that mid lane because sooOn was forced out, and he's picked up another cloth armor. He's really feeling the pressure of Alex's Kha'Zix.
So is he going for arm guards, Seeker's arm guards, I guess,
yes.
early on?
Yeah, that would definitely be the first guess. And against, you know, the likes of a Misfortune with her bullet time and Kha'Zix, it's a very good pickup, but it does mean it's going to take a little bit longer to hit that insta-kill potential that Orianna has.
Good snipe on towards Edward from long range there, keeping him very low. It does, of course, mean that red pot was used, and as yet has not been successful in getting any kills. So wasted, not wasted. I mean, he's a 10 CS difference. It's worked out in his favor, but of course, he's got no items currently built up.
No, he doesn't, but he'll be able to recall relatively soon and start spending some money. What it has done is it's given control in that lane. We've seen a quick glance there of Diamondprox setting up in this bottom lane, but he's walked straight over a ward, and you've just seen the ping coming up from Dragonborns. For a split second, you've seen the time left on that ward. That was like 5 or 10 seconds. What a different situation it could have been. Alex has caught sooOn.
Gone straight in, aggressive again, and sooOn not going back too quickly because he knew he had the defensive work of Maluno just at the back there, ready and waiting. Diamondprox, you can also see waiting in the wings. He wants to get in. Hasn't been able to get any successful ganks yet. The best stats, I might add, for Diamondprox in the entire LCS. Everyone put together.
Not even a question about that. In the mid lane, I just want to quickly talk on the level difference there. You see that Alex is 5 to sooOn almost 5. Once Alex gets 6 and he's going to get those evolved spikes, sooOn is going to need to rely entirely on his abilities to farm, because if he gets close enough to auto attack, Alex is literally just going to spam him with missiles and jump on him when he gets him low enough.
Yeah, he's just leveled up the void spikes there, I believe, and you can see them immediately. They're going to come straight on sooOn. sooOn with no mana left either. He really needs to get that blue buff ASAP. It will be up in another minute though, so he's really had to just use everything. He's going to get dive on the tower. It's going to be Alex's first blood will come down to sooOn. Will the ball be enough to survive? One tick more. It does take him down. Alex,
knowing exactly how much damage he had available, he used the leap, he used the missiles and the ignite, and it was able to completely secure that kill. He took 1 or 2 turret hits, and now we can recall with a 20 CS lead, his opponent is still not level 6, and he's going to be able to, you know, itemize even more efficiently to control that lane even more. So early, you know, Elixir Fortitude pot, was it a success? Yes, end of story.
Absolutely. Now he's got the Brutalizer and boots, and now he's just going to be an absolute terror for sooOn. Had to go back and get himself a Doran's Ring. That means he's in desperate trouble right now. Third item bought being a Doran's Ring. You can see Darian trying to keep the pressure, and meanwhile the bottom lane is where there's a bit of pinging back and forth, but no real action there, so it's kind of flat across the board. That's just that one kill so far, and what a kill it was. Alexich showing how aggressive he can be, and those one-on-one situations really is one of the best in the world.
Yeah, not even a doubt about that. It's why his all-star vote percentage is so high at the moment. In the top lane, while you were chatting there, we were looking at Yamato Cannon CSing away, and he had some very strong words for Wicked last week, telling him how to level up his Z and saying, well, you shouldn't max Q over E. So I want to see how Yamato Cannon plays. He is maxing E at the moment. You can see 3 into that Shadow Slash. And I want to see how he performs. Alex at the moment, he's waiting in the wings, has his ultimate available, and he's going to try catch sooOn out.
He's going to jump around the backside of him, has got 4 points in that Void Spikes, but the Void Spikes missed there, and sooOn already got the defensive ball. Didn't matter, nothing hit him at all there, and that was actually a bit of a failed attempt by Alex Itch there. Of course, blue buff will be contested shortly, both teams starting at the red buff, so it will be spawning in just a few moments. We're seeing aggression coming in the top lane now. Maluno is going to come in, Yamato Cannon puts the death mark, Shadow Mark down on towards him, does get the bear stance stun, but he's going to get away from this one. They both flash for it, they will get the kill eventually. It's Yamato Cannon that takes it.
Well played between Maluno and Yamato Cannon. They burned everything there. The ghost, the ignite, the flashes, but it worked and they picked up the kill. There was some good play by Darian. He managed to flash taunt, catch Udyr out. He even used his feint to block some of the damage of that death mark. But nevertheless, it was too much damage overall. And interestingly, Yamato didn't even use his red pot in that engagement. They could have maybe got that a little quicker if he had that extra damage.
Yeah, that's the red pot he's been sitting on from the very start of the game as well. Got himself that Vampiric Scepter on the last back. Now it's going to be sat on a couple of 100 gold as well now. Definitely going to be working out nicely for him. Looks like we're going to get a Warmogs coming out from Darian as their first item. You can see him building up them rejuve beads. Meanwhile, down this bottom lane, 71 CS currently Hosam with the advantage over Genja, but still very, very close between him. And we're seeing Genja again, average played. It's something he always goes for.
Yeah, now this is something he actually hasn't done for a little while, but he was doing it in the middle of the season time and time again with his misfortune. I believe he follows this build with double Bloodthirsters. If my memory serves me correctly, he goes Avarice into double BT, and he just gets all of that auto attack damage stacking on his bullet time. It literally tells you right now, Genja's not going to be in there right-clicking opponents to death. He's going to be casting his ultimate and shredding them down in that massive AoE.
Oh, we're speaking of massive AoE, Alex is leaping on sooOn. Getting a bit of a poke on towards him. That defensive ball not quite landing in time before the Void Spikes managed to catch him. So blue buff on both mid laners, so nobody going for any invaders just yet. And you do see again another jump. He's not going to go completely deep on this one against sooOn's ball.
Now, Alex at the moment's got his ultimate and Ignite, and he's going to be able to pick up a kill as soon as that Ignite becomes available. So keep very close eyes here on sooOn. Alex is probably going to sniff this out. Ignite is available, and he's going.
He's going to jump perfectly. The Shockwave will pull him in. Will he be able to get away from me? He does get the kill, but Moluna's going to chase. He's going to get one more hit. He does manage to get the revenge kill, and it's actually sooOn that gets it with the Ignite.
So well played there to at least be in the right place at the right time for Moluna. You knew that that dive was coming, and Alex, he just signaled it entirely that he wanted to pick up that kill. So he does go 1-for-1, trades blue buff over to actually nobody because sooOn got the kill, so the buff has actually died, which is a bit of a loss for Moluna.
A bit of a loss, yeah. He didn't manage to switch across, but it doesn't matter. A kill for a kill, eye for an eye, as it were. But 84 CS to 54 CS tells a story of its own. Diamondprox getting in again. The flip on towards Moluna. Did manage to get a bear stance out. Quickly switches back to Phoenix. Gets a bit of AE damage down on towards Diamondprox, but just walks away. Didn't manage to get the ward in at Wraiths.
Yeah, so Moluna's going to have a little bit of vision there. Going to know where his opponents are. And interestingly, he has started with Boots of Swiftness, so he really wants to be mobile in team fights. He can see what Diamondprox is doing, is thinking about going in, and eventually just stands there and watches him, a little bit stalkery.
A little bit stalkery, yeah, just watches him. He had the ward there, so he didn't need to stand close. He clearly wanted to try and do something, but realized that Alex had obviously returned to lanes. So, speaking of lanes, let's look at the top. Bilgewater Cutlass being picked up as the Yamato Cannon returns to that top lane. Meanwhile, this bottom lane, 92 to 99 now, still very close in it, and really not a great deal of action between them. Nobody really going for those crazy aggressive plays. We see Genja again using his bullet time to clear out the wave. He's going to go back and buy, probably picking up a BF sword.
Yeah, we'll see how much he's got in his back pocket to spend when he does recall, but at the moment it's just a farm fest. Neither of the two bottom laners are actually picking those engagements or the battles. You can see that other than Genja using his ultimate to farm, nobody else has actually burned their ultimate for any reason at all. sooOn doing the best he can to shove the lane down, deny at least some experience in CS if that minion wave does go down to the tower. It looks like Genja with Strut will be able to get in there and get at least most of it.
So we see a lot of damage from Dragonborns onto this bottom turret. May well be the first one of the game. Genja has just returned back to lane, but you can see there's a big chunk done to that turret. And I don't think they've managed to return the favor on towards Dragonborn's turret themselves. No, they've only really took just about over half the hit points off that. So big advantage currently in the bottom lane for the Dragonborns.
Yeah, it's also partially due to the fact that Varus is in the lane. He's a little bit of a faster wave pusher than that of Misfortune. The Make It Rain, the E from MF, is not typically the greatest in shoving lanes, whereas the Piercing Arrow and Hail of Arrows does significantly more to get the lane pushed. They are an item behind now, and you can see sooOn and Movert deciding to recall because they're not going to be able to deal with that BF sword advantage that now Genja's Misfortune has. Up in the top lane, you can see Yamato falling a little bit behind in the CS. I think he's mistimed his backs and lost a couple extra creeps to the lanes and to the minions. Gambit perfectly positioned for Dragon. There's a little bit of vision here for Dragonborns, but they are simply nowhere near to challenge.
They're trading up damage at the top though. Yamato Cannon thinking of going in towards Darien. Darien, of course, doesn't matter. The Dragon is going to go across to Gambit, and that is a gold advantage swinging their way. 1.5k now building up.
Yeah, completely uncontested. There was no vision. Dragonborns, even if they did know it was happening, they simply couldn't contest it. Yamato has that Bilgewater. He actually used the active in the previous fight, so if he does go aggressive, the ultimate pop's not going to be as high, and he might jump in.
He does. Deathmark goes in. He's going to go full-on aggression towards Darien. Can he get away from this one? He does, and really the damage wasn't there. Darien just simply shadow dashed away from it.
Darien did so well. The shadow dash, the flash crescendo.
Flash crescendo on towards Genja. The Varus arrow is going to land towards it. Has he got enough damage though? You can see he's going to turn around with the wild growth. Is it going to be enough? Bullet time on towards sooOn. sooOn flashes away. Edward trying to turn it, but it's going to be a double kill. Here comes Darien. The ultimate's going to come through. He does get him just at the right moment, and sooOn picks up a double kill.
Perfect play there with that crescendo from Mover. He set it up Hosun followed in and landed every single ability. They got the crescendo into the chain of corruption and landed every single ability one after the other. Double kill for Hosun means that's just going to stamp complete control in this lane once he spends that money and gets the items. In the top lane, Darien got away because he got the damage reduction from that Shadow Dash taunt and then the feint to block a lot of the DPS. And Yamato Cannon used that Fortitude Elixir, so he's actually burnt that potion that he's been sitting on since the beginning of the game. But advantage Dragonborns, at least in terms of the kills.
Advantage Dragonborns indeed, and Alex Ich went up the top there to try and help out, try and get a kill, but he wasn't to be because Yamato Cannon had already backed off. He actually lost a lot of time, lost a lot of that build-up he had against Shuche, but he has still got that big advantage. 138 CS to 94. Big swing there, 2-1. And as it stands, the bottom lane though, Hosun, he's going to build up nicely. 2-0. Bloodthirster ready. Yeah, so Bloodthirster completed. There's a lot of talk about Varus and how you should itemize him, but the AD ratios and his abilities scale so well with that additional attack damage that Bloodthirster gives you. But you were talking about Alex's position in the mid lane. He's got the home guard boots already, which tells you he wants to get out of base and into lanes to affect them as quickly and as fast as possible. And when you consider Zed, Varus, and Orianna are actually fairly, squishy, and Sona, as soon as Alex starts getting involved in these team fights, if he picks his targets correctly and yumps to them in the right order, he may set himself up for another pentakill. Yeah, those kill yumps can be deadly. And he does walk straight across at the ward. That ward placement from Yamato is having him so well at the moment. He's sitting on that turret, making sure he doesn't get caught out. Meanwhile, down this bottom lane, we see the ward placement going in towards the Tri-Bush, and Genji's going to try and catch out here on towards Movet, just try and keep him away. Meanwhile, the top lane, Maluna's going to go into this one. They've backed it away. Darien did really well to get away from that. He decided to back off at exactly the right time, but I feel like Yamato Cannon went a touch too early there. He popped his ultimate and he popped his Bilgewater Cutlass before Maluna was even in range, so they couldn't stack the damage. Red Pot is still there, but here comes Diamond Prox. He's burned his ghost and he's going to go in top. He's going to get caught out as well. Alex Ich was also trying to join the party, but it doesn't matter. He's too late. The invite wasn't down, and Gambit picked themselves up another kill. Where is Alex going? Alex has decided to go on a little hike through the bushes. He wants to see the scenery, get some vision on the buffs, reset the timer so he'll know when red buff is up. He's returning to the mid lane and may actually go 1v2 while Gambit pick up their first tower of the game. Yeah, and the bottom lane though, the pressure's coming down there. Darien taking up the turret. The turret's going to get him. Doesn't matter. Nobody else managed to get any damage on him, but nevertheless, he dies to a turret. It's always a comedy moment. It is a little bit of a comedy moment, but at least, you know his KDA is going to be affected. In the bottom lane, you can see there is some pressure, but there was immediate fallback pings there from Dragonborns. They knew that Alex was on the way because of that ward he just walked past, and they were backing away as soon as they seen his face. So 1-1 in turrets. Top and bottom both going down. And a question mark placed on the bottom. Pretty sure they're around there still somewhere, says Gambit, but we're not too sure where. Because Alex Ich, though, big advantages growing up here. But we've not seen a great deal between him and Shuche. Shuche is starting to get himself back into this. You can see he's got the source boots, the arm guards on there. He just needs to get himself a bit of damage. But look at this three-man stack. Dragonborns are setting this one up. If Genja oversteps his bound, he is going to get jumped on. Look for the pressure. Ward may come down. They've got Edward. They've managed to catch straight on towards him. Edward's going to die. It's no problem at all. And that's an easy pickup for Dragonborns. That's what they wanted. They're now 5-3 up. So they stacked their CC a little bit inopportune there. They got the crescendo and then immediately followed up with a chain. They could have done that a little better, and it was a support. So they may not have needed all of those ultimates, but a kill is a kill. And, getting that gold in your back pocket for 3 team members is definitely what matters most. So 5-3 up in kills. Dragonborns are looking very, very good. This is a coordinated Dragonborns, which is something, to be very frank, we haven't actually seen all that much of. Hosun is not overstepping his bounds unless they've made an aggressive play. And they're in really good control of their own game here, which bodes well for this mid-game. Well, Dragonborns, you've got to be honest, this is the first time they've been as a 5 to practice for a week in their house together. Because they've had that many changes, shuffling changes, which some would agree with, some just wouldn't, because there's been some interesting changes throughout there, but it's the first time they've been able to fully practice. Yeah, that's definitely the case. We see on the minimap a big convergence of champions in this mid lane. Alex is going to put some damage on Hosun, but he's actually losing that trade with Hosun, to be very, very fair. You get a lot more damage done from those auto attacks and that passive, percentage HP proc. And he's immediately going to heal that up fairly quickly with his Vamp Scepter and obviously those Void Missiles in the mid lane. So Red Buff being given across to Yamato, I feel. They need something. Actually, did he get that? I didn't quite catch it. It went to Maluna. It did go to Maluna, I thought so. I'm pretty sure Yamato wanted that to deal with Darien in the top lane, so that may well have been a mistake there. I'm not too sure. I think the last tick of Phoenix managed to take it away. Darien does show himself there, and you can see Yamato immediately showing his position. So Hosan back down the bottom. He's farming and out-farming nicely on Genji right now.
Look at the positioning here now for the Dragonborns. They're aware that Dragon is about to respawn. It has just popped as we see Maluna moving away. So Dragonborns have positioning for this. Darien is split pushing Machine, who is surprised by that, but Stand United is available. So if he decides to come in, it is available for him to do that. Gambit want to challenge for this fight, and here they go.
Yeah, going in for it. Is it going to be a little bit too early? That's the question. Movet hasn't got Crescendo out there. Didn't quite have it available, so that's going to be disastrous for them. They do manage to take LCS down. Darien taking very low. Hosan kiting them brilliantly. We see the good double kill coming out from him, but the rest of the damage is coming across them. Where is Hosan going to run to? I don't think he's going to be able to escape this one. Diamond Prox is going to try and track it down. He's going to get into the bush and back very quickly. He should be able to escape this one, as does Maluna. The Dragon was so close to going down. Genji was off the side. I think they probably could have picked it up maybe with a smite, but they just didn't stick around long enough.
No, they didn't, but Hosan is, and this is typical Hosan. He's not envisioned just yet, so Gambit aren't 100% aware. His timing is piercing arrow. Can he steal it?
He does! He got it! Brilliant play from Hosan, and now he's going to see if he can back in time. We saw Maluna run around. Diamond Prox is going to run towards him. He's going to have to throw the hail of arrows out. I don't think he's going to escape this one. Alex Hitch is already on him, but remember, he can just die to a turret. If he doesn't get touched out here, he's going to have to dodge Genji. One more shot. He survives brilliantly. Well, he doesn't survive. He obviously died, but the turret got the kill nevertheless.
Somebody give Hosan a cookie, because that was a great play. Stole it away from a frenzy volley bear. I'm looking at smite. It wasn't actually available for Diamond Prox in that particular thing, so he couldn't finish it off with a smite. He was relying on that percentage mom of the frenzy, and that simply wasn't in time, because the attack damage bonus on Bloodthirster benefited Hosan way more.
So Genji back down the bottom, farming out. How's he stacking though? Because that experience swing that they just got from stealing that dragon, you can see the gold. It's right there. 200 advantage currently to Dragonborns. Would you believe it? Look across the board, though. Very close to the AD carries. The mid lane, it's a big difference currently. Alex Hitch, that's really where the difference is stacking right now. And you can see also the top lane, it's an advantage for Yamato Cannon.
So the Dragonborns are in a position where they're doing relatively well in the macro game, but in the micro, when it comes to those team fights and the individual positioning, they were quite handily beaten. They had a tighter group on Dragon. Gambit simply dove straight through all of them and managed to pick up all those skills. So it was well played. We can see in the middle lane, though, we see Darien coming in from behind. Can he get the taunts?
He does manage to get the crescendo out, but it's all a matter of death, though, for Movet. Can he manage to get the damage down? Hosan doing what he can, throwing out his ultimate, throwing out the hail of arrows, throwing out anything to get any kills here. Now we finally see Maluna coming in. Have they got enough? Genja's actually chasing. Void Spikes does manage to land on Maluna. They can't pursue it. They have no vision.
Good positional play there from Darien, coming in from behind. He even got lucked up by Crescendo. Diamond wants to carry on fighting. So well played to the Dragonborns. The shockwave from Shushe was actually very, very good. It controlled a little bit of the zone, managed to catch a couple members of Gambit and get some damage down. The fact that he's got that hour presence, I want to see how they handle this engagement. They look like they want to force a fight. You can see some pings onto members of Gambit, and everyone from Gambit is relatively close. So if something happens, they can react to it. Now that they're going to start going a little bit more aggressive and Edward clearing those wards out, means Gambit's going to get the positional advantages. Maluna may get caught up by Shen here, so prepare for anything explosive to happen, because you can have Shen diving in or you can have Alex diving in at a moment's notice.
Trying to get on towards Darien. He does manage to get the stun down. What is Darien going to do to this one? Maluna very tanky. Remember, he was the man that went in at the front last time as well. He needs to get a little bit more health, though, I feel, because Darien, obviously, with that Sunfire Cape building up towards the Warmogs as well, it's going to be a giant walking hit point, health point person.
A health point
doesn't even
machine.
make sense.
It makes perfect sense. He's a health point machine, and in order to kill the health point machine, it's going to be up to Hosan and his percentage health point damage abilities. But at the moment, Dragonborn's doing well. They look like they wanted to pick a fight. They look like they wanted to push mid lane turret. They went, we don't really think we can, and they pretty much just ran away and farmed up the lane. So well played by them. If you don't have advantage on an objective and you don't have positioning on the objective, don't force it. Don't overstay your welcome or overstep your boundaries. And that's exactly what they did. So a little bit of passive farming, but the next big team fight is definitely going to yield a tower, maybe even Baron at this point.
Everyone with perfect timing. Look at that. Both teams backing off. They know 48 seconds before that dragon is due. Everybody get your items in now. Black Cleaver comes out. Last Whisper comes out. Sunfire Cape was already there. He's got the locket.
Lock onto the Iron Solari.
Yeah, of the Iron Solari. I called it completely something different the other week as well. But we do see Blade of the Rune King. That's been there for a long time as well. But Phantom Dancer now picked up by Hosan. He's going to be more hurting in the next fight. Haunting Guys also picked up by sooOn. So big fight on the horizon. I
definitely want to talk about the Haunting Guys for a second, because if you look at their opponents, there isn't all that much magic resist. There's no Aegis of the Legion just yet. So if sooOn does get a very good ultimate with that dissonance and shockwave, it can definitely shred the HP bars of his opponents. So we have to keep close eye on that ball control in these team fights. Now that Dragon spawned, almost all the teams are in position for this, with the exception of Yamato Cannon, who is still shoving that top lane. So you can see some fallback pings or some, caution, help needed pings there from Dragonborns in the river. And it definitely looks like a fight's going to break out. Once again, Darren's just dealing with a push because he has Stand United to join at a moment's notice.
Yamato is not coming down, though. He's sticking in that top lane. He's going to keep Darien busy, but he's got nothing that can stop Darien if he suddenly starts ulting him.
No, nothing at all, but the fight breaks out in river.
They do manage to go for it. Move Air flashes out of it. Diamond taking a lot of damage here for nothing being used. Here comes the ultimate, though. Stand United getting towards them. Move Air does manage to use his crescendo, but it's for naught, and it's going to be another kill picked up by Alex Itch. Maluna goes down, and that's what we talked about. So they traded a dragon for a turret. I'm not too sure whether Yamato can keep pushing here.
Yamato's going to try, but in the mid lane, Dragonborns are going to try to put some damage here. They're not going to be able to stick around. And that was just a little bit of lack of control and team fight coordination from Dragonborns. They were a little bit split. They had no Yamato cannon there. They weren't able to engage, and you can see immediately they just got jumped on and they sort of went, oh, we don't really know what to do. Genja is just gone straight down to this bottom lane, and if they get this tower as well, definitely advantage Gambit.
Definitely advantage to Gambit once again. 9-8 now, 200 gold, almost building up. There's the hail of bullets. It's like a mix of both. Yeah, bullet time.
Good enough.
It's been a mix of both. Hosan caught out. Alex Itch will go for this one. He should be able to dive on towards the turret. There's the flash, but he's going to flash and turn it round. He tried to stand his ground, but he's just simply not strong enough. Yamato Cannon was too far away to get involved. He's going to go. It's going to be the markdown. He's kind of lost there. The ultimate from Alex Itch completely confusing him, and he stealths away.
Really good play there from Alex. He actually popped himself into that stealth as the death mark was about to pop. So he reduced all of that damage, that burst effect, thanks to his ultimate. So well played, good timing. Alex gets himself another kill on the board. 6-2-2. Black Cleaver completed, Mana Mune completed, as well as that Bloodthirster. And his Mura mana is about 200 mana from being completed. Yamato Cannon not really having the insta-kill options available that he really needs to be effective on Zed.
I don't think you can do anything against Darien here, honestly. Darien with that Warmogs and Sunfire Cape, you can see the hit points just slowly burning down. Darien's happy to just walk around, standing next to him. Now he's got a giant wave of minions on him. What is Yamato thinking? He's just used his ultimate and everything else down to the bottom on Alex Itch. Well, of course, he's thinking he's got Maluno to come and help support. Now they're going to go aggressive. He's just managed to get the storm as he tries to shadow dash away. Forces the flash from Darien.
So good call. At least they've burned that flash from Shen, but that's not really the most important. You can see how much damage those missiles are doing onto Hosan. Alex is already level 18. First level 18 in the game by a long margin. And it actually looks like they're going to maybe set up for Baron here. You see Edward's got the Oracle's Elixir, so he's clearing out vision. Got a number of wards in his back pocket. Just going to set up as many vision points around the Dragonborn's jungle as possible. And it just tells you immediately, we want to start baiting Dragonborns into thinking Baron is our next objective and our next target. And if you can force your opponent's hand and pick a fight on your terms, obviously it's your advantage.
So yeah, Muramana now picked up as well. That's going to turn into a, well, Mana Mune, will turn into a Muramana. Maybe it's going to revert back on itself, who knows. But as it stands, it is advantage Gambit now, slowly but surely building up. It's a 3k advantage, 10-8 in kills, 2-2 in turrets, and that middle turret seems to be the next focus target for Gambit as they start to stack up there. Genja just clearing that bottom wave. That's going to push itself now. They're all going to make their way in towards that mid lane.
So Genja's Avarice Blade at the moment has already picked up 800 gold, but in the top lane, you've got the top lanes going, and he wants to kill.
He's goosed the death mark on towards Darien. He may well get the kill as well. Remember, he's already used that flash, pops him out there, catches a glimpse of Edward, and immediately the rest of Dragonborn's trying to track out there. They see Edward. They've pinged on Edward, but they can't catch him.
The reason he was able to get that kill was the fact that he completed his last Whisper. The last time we've seen that engagement happening, that additional armor penetration was not there for Yamato Cannon. It was now. Because he's dead, this means Dragonborns are going aggressive on this mid turret, but here comes Edward from the side.
Coming around the side, Wild Growth catches in, but in comes Maluna. They get the stun out towards Diamond, but have they got the damage? You can see Bullet Time coming across the side. They're catching across the front line of Dragonborns, and there comes the jump. Alex Itch going in, but he's He's 4v1 right now. He's going a little too aggressive. Oh, but Genja comes in, flashes for the kill on towards Hosan. Beautifully played, and the rest of Dragonborn's forced to back away.
Really good play from Gambit. They defended that tower 4 versus 4 because Yamato Cannon was alone in the top lane. They managed to get a different tower, so good thing for Dragonborns, but Gambit immediately replied. The pressure is still on, and they want to carry on pushing this inner turret now. Maluno is going to try get some help from sooOn, but this is 3 versus 2, and Gambit decide they don't want the fight.
They're going to try and keep them off this turret. They do manage to take a third health off there. The bottom lane, top lane, sorry, when Yamato Cannon did take that inner turret down, but Darian, he just managed to come round and completely protect him, and well, keep him at bay, and he does force him away. So, still very close between these guys, but you see the gold. It is slowly but surely creeping in towards Gambit's way. sooOn's going to clear out a giant wave here, getting himself a chunk of gold, but look across the board. We now see Yamato Cannon with a 1,000 gold advantage built up over Darian. That's important, but there's a 2,500 gold limit for Alex Ich over sooOn. The AD carries, though, it's a 2,000 gold limit building up for Genja. So 2 advantages for Gambit, 1 for Dragonborns.
I'd like to see Dragonborn starting to prioritize some armor. They're definitely going to need that to survive the damage from Kha'Zix and from Misfortune. If they can, it's definitely going to play into their favor. But after all the gold advantages, we see Genja has gone Season 2 and completed his Guardian Angel. So we see this out of him over and over and over. Bloodthirster, Last Whisper, Guardian Angel. It's been his go-to build the last couple of weeks. Both teams have the Aegis of the Legion completed. We see 1 Locket of the Iron Solari on the side of Gambit, and no Locket completed yet for Dragonborns. They're going to need that to survive the burst damage and AoE from Gambit.
Well, you can see Yamato Cannon spotted the danger and runs like the wind. Diamond Proc still coming around the side there, chasing on towards Mover, but the rest of the team are there. Maluna comes in, puts the bear stand straight in his face, bear to bear, and the Maluna wins.
Yeah, exactly. The bare necessities neither bear in favor at the moment. Maluno just going to farm up this top lane. He's doing really well with that Udyr. Interesting build. He's got those Home Guard Boots of Swiftness completed, as well as the Spirit of the Ancient Golem. I'd like to see what he itemizes next, because his opponent has got those Ninja Tabba and the Locket. Now, Yamato and Maluno, they might catch Alex.
They're going to go for him. They try and catch on towards him, but he's a slippery son of a bitch, and he jumps straight away from it. Didn't quite get the Death Mark down on him, and he just jumps straight away from that one. No problems at all.
He had his ultimate, he had his flash, and he had the ability to leap to safety. They couldn't stick to him. Interesting that Dragonborns didn't decide to commit to that, because Yamato had his blade active, he had his Death Mark to chase, and flash. But they decided to err on the side of caution, as it were, and not throw themselves into a potential trap, because they simply didn't have the vision to continue the chase.
Wow. We do see Yamato Cannon still at the top there, as is Alex Ich. We may have a one-on-one situation, but you can see the Dragon here being picked up by Gambit once again. That's going to stretch their goal lead just that little bit further, and Dragonborn slowly but surely slipping away from this matchup. Gambit taking all the advantages they can.
So this is something we see from Gambit in every game that they play. Their Dragon control is simply sublime. They have the timing on it, they have the positioning on it, they always ensure that they have vision as well. We see now that Alex may be collapsed on. Yamato and Hasan want this, and exactly, see how slippery Alex is. Ooh. He just hops over the wall and gets to safety.
Well, I thought he maybe even triggering off towards Baron there, but again, just jumps away. All those yumps. Some would say you must jump.
You must jump indeed, because that's how you get the pentakill. It's the only way to get those resets, is diving in there and committing. And we see that those jumps are going to be so much safer, because Guardian Angel has been completed now for Alex. I believe Gambit are the only teams that consistently pick up GAs to date. We mostly see defensive items in the forms of, Warmogs or Sunfires from most other players, but 2 GAs, which means the next team fight is going to be 5 versus 7, effectively, before the shields, before the help. And Gambit, they want Baron.
Well, they're going to go in towards Hosan, going to keep the poking damage down, and Edward actually taking a lot of damage, as does Diamond, from that Baron. So Baron, a little angry boy in the middle end, nearly attacking the ward as well. Managed to get 1 hit down on it. Didn't quite finish it off, though.
Very, very cheeky play there from Dragonborns. Hosan and Mover triggering Baron just to get it to help them out. And you can see Baron hits really, really hard, regardless of how many items you have. I do want to say here that we just see an interesting pickup from Genja. The Ghost Blade has been finished, so that Avarice Blade has been upgraded. And he's going to have that movement speed, the penetration, and the additional attack speed, which is really going to help chase down the slippery Zed and Udyr.
if he remembers to click them all at once.
I think Genja can remember. If anyone's going to remember how to do it, I think he can.
You would hope so. You would hope so. So Darian, meanwhile, split pushing, continuing on. And look at this. He's got himself another Giant's Bolt. Randy and Zoman's going to come out this time. He's just stacking all of that health up. Currently at 4,000. Looks like 65 to me. And it's just going to get higher and higher. As we do see Yamato Cannon now. He's shoving that bottom lane. Now might be the time. There goes the ping on Baron.
Now, there's no way that Yamato can get there in time. He's going to try hot-footing it as quickly as possible. But Dragonborns are in the area. They have 3 nearby. Diamond Prox is sniffing around the jungle. He's trying to find that honeypot to flip backwards. And Yamato has still not reacted. Yamato needs to get here to help his team because Gambit have started Baron. Now, Hosen is also in base. You can see him running there as quickly as possible. Darian's going to keep Yamato free, but this might be a free Baron.
Oh, jump straight across, and Movehead just gets destroyed by Alex. It's kind of proving where he might be bottom of the KDA currently in all the supports. But nevertheless, it is going to be a flip on towards Maluna. It's bear v bear action, and well, Diamond Prox actually taking a lot of damage this time. Can they turn it around? No, they can't. A little claw into the backside of Maluna does take a chunk out of that bear meat. They're going to continue on. Baron does finally go down. They're going to catch on towards Alexic. The shockwave's still yet to be used. Now they're jumping on towards Shusei. Shusei's got no mana. He can't do anything. The flash comes out from Alexic, forcing the flash. It's going to be Hosen taken down. Gets the reset. Can he get in towards Shusei? Shusei with no mana at all. Alexic could dive this. He's got the Guardian Angel. There's nothing to stop him going for it, but they will back away. Baron, of course, picked up by Gambit.
The entirety of that fight, Darian and Yamato Cannon actually went toe-to-toe in the bottom lane. You can see their HP bars are shredded. They have their ignites burned, and actually Yamato Cannon lost that trade. I believe he went in him under the turret, which obviously plays into Darian's favor, but it did mean it was a 4 versus 4. Gambit obviously won that. They got the turret, they got Baron, and they got kills. Again, it's now Gambit in control. They have a sizable gold lead, and with that Baron buff on their team, they're going to go aggressive. Oh, do they want this fight? No, not at the moment.
It's interesting for me because they've clearly, Dragonborns have clearly proven, chosen to say, okay, we're going to keep a 4v4 fight. We feel we can take it, but it's clear the last 3 team fights, they can't. So Yamato Cannon needs to be with them in the fight. They need to have someone to destroy Alex or Genja so quickly to pop them GAs.
It was the unexpected that really caught them off guard. They were setting up for Baron. They were going, well, we want to fight this. How do we go in? When do we go in? Where do we go in from? And all of a sudden, Alex just jumped over the wall and caught Muvert. Wow, Hosen sidestepped the taunt.
Oh, and that's going to be the Varus ultimate catching on towards Darian, but they have to step away because there goes Genja and Edward. And as soon as they appeared, everybody had to back away. Yamato Cannon continuing the aggression on towards Darian. This time he is going to go in. Deathmark goes down. Can he keep the damage down? But here comes Genja. He does pop him. He's on towards Genja. He's going to have to back away from this one. Flash is out just at the right moment.
Edward wants blood, though, because he's running up into the members of Dragonborns. And if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Edward. He's going to get stunned up, though. There's the wild growth for safety. But ultimate burn, it's on cooldown, and a little over-aggressive from the Thresh Prince.
Slightly over-exerted there, yeah. Not on Thresh this time, so he hasn't quite got that safety of his, safety of the box, as it were, to get around. But doesn't matter because here comes Gambit once again up the middle. While that was all happening, Alex was just getting blue. He's like, guys, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, he wanted the cooldown, make sure he's going to be able to continue spam his abilities. We see that the build from Shusha, he's only just finished his Morella Nomicon, and that's going to be giving him some much-needed mana regen. Part of the reason he was going to be less effective at the Baron fight was because he simply couldn't spam his abilities like he needs to. So we're starting to hit the super late-game phases. Teams are going to get towards their max builds, and any mistakes are now completely unforgiving in this battle. You lose inhibitors, you lose Barons. Dragonborns are responding well, they're in the right position, but Alex wants to jump. And you see the rest of Gambit are positioning. So at any time that Gambit decide to dive, they've got a lot of armor, a lot of health, and a lot of respawns in the form of those GAs to actually tower dive.
Yeah, the ward bait there from Edward. You saw him put it down, he's like, he's going to try and take the bait here. Alex was ready and waiting, but luckily Yamato Cannon read the situation and followed him in there, so he didn't want to go 2v1. So, everybody backing off from Gambit. Let's see what they're going to stack up. Dragon has just spawned, and as you mentioned, they have perfect timing on that one. All 3 members collapsing in here, while Darian continues that farming along the top. You can see he's got that Randy and Zoman. Picked himself some more armor up, because why not? I mean, his armor must be at 250 by now.
Well, it's purely because of the threats that he has to deal with. It's only Zed and Varus that are really scary from the opposition. So stack that armor to mitigate the damage from the damage sources of your opponents. While, you know, Shusha's Orianna does have a fair amount of ability power and can deal some damage, percentage HP is good, and Darian's get caught.
He's going to go in for him, and there's not going to be able to get away from this one. You see the flash come out, Deathmark comes out there, will follow through. Shusha with the ball. Will it be enough? No. He's going to walk away, and here comes Diamond Prox. Would you believe it? He survived. The rest of his team weren't quite in position to follow it up, and he just doesn't have the damage. That's how tanky he really is. 2 versus 1. Shusha could not use the shockwave either. He wasn't in a position, and now Diamond and Genja just steal away the red buff from under the nose of Dragonborns. They are losing every single objective. Now, while all that's going on, the bottom lane is being pressured by Gambit. Gambit are playing the map right now. They're not necessarily playing their opponents. They just want to get the waves pushing and make sure the towers are under constant pressure from Dragonborns. Yeah, Dragonborns, meanwhile, they're trying to get a pick or two, trying to see if they can get anything away from them. Maluno goes home unhappy because he has no red buff to take away in that middle area of the jungle. Top lane is going to get farmed out by Yamato Cannon. He has got a lot of farm for his team, but as has, you can see Shusha, but again, all the way through the game, that 40 CS difference has maintained itself with Alexic. Yeah, that 40 CS difference is obviously becoming less and less significant as we get to 410 to 370 CS, but it still shows because Shusha has simply not popped anybody. Gambit has seen an opportunity, and it looks like they're rushing for this bottom inner turret. Dragonborns are trying to respond as quickly as possible. They may be there in time, but I don't know if they want to pick this fight, because if they don't initiate and lock people up with that crescendo and the chain, they might just get bursted down. Oh, Hosan has just picked himself up an Infinity Edge, and you can see Yamato Cannon trying to keep the damage down, but they can't even get close to dealing anything towards that one. And Dragonborn's now up against a very aggressive Gambit team. They want to get in and get this turret. Yeah, they're trying to push it down. There's a minute and a half to go before Baron respawns, so Gambit are looking to get in here. Maluno's put some damage down onto Darian, but the rest of his team wasn't on the same page. They can't run as quickly as that Monkey's Agility Bear Stance Udia, which means they're going to be a little slower to react. Expect a flash crescendo from Muba if they want to pick a fight with Gambit, but Gambit look like they've responded. They don't want to fight under the turret, and they've backed away. Yeah, they don't really have the positional advantage either. They are going to maybe try and collapse on towards Diamond. They can see he's off at the side. Alexic with that blue buff stolen away. He's going to come back in. Not sure if you can really class it as stolen when they've completely taken all of the jungle, so maybe he's just decided it was his. This time the ball did manage to catch on with the dissonance and the hail of arrows. They do get good damage on towards him. Now Darian also caught out, and I can see the green rain of... That's Make It Rain. Make It Rain, damn it. Make It Rain, and then Make It Rain was the one that stopped him. Just managed to put some slow down. The thing is, Alex is going to need to go and heal up just a little bit. If he can't lifesteal off any of the camps, which it looks like he has done, he's now just decided to move back. Take some good damage there and good poke. Alex consistently walking into that command attack. The taunt misses, and that means it's off cooldown. This might signal the engage from Dragonborns. They're going for it. You can see Alex, he's ready and waiting just around the side there. Edward was backing away with him, and they are trying to back off from this one, so they've got to be careful they don't get caught. Darian, he's not quite on the same wavelength. The rest of his team are backing away. He's sticking around. Finally, he's going to back off. They're not going to be able to catch anyone here. So Gambit not feeling too confident to start a fight under their opponent's inhibitor, and Dragonborn's obviously not, flash committing or doing anything themselves. They put a lot of poke down onto Alex, and if they can do that in a big team fight, it's going to play into their favor. Baron Nashor has just respawned, and you can see Gambit are immediately rushing towards that position. Neither team has vision, neither team is 100% sure when it's going to get started, and they're going to see, I want to see how Dragonborns react, because at the moment, Maluno and Yamato are going to be holding off Darian. Yeah, they're trying to keep them busy. Darian, again, is going to pull Yamato Cannon out of the way. We said this right at the top of the show. Without a teleport, he's going to be in all sorts of trouble, and this is the exact situation. Will Mouvet get caught out? He gets the voice box straight in his face again. Look at this. Alexic, he wants to jump straight in there. This time, though, Shusha is there. The ball goes in dissonance on towards Edward, along with that spike coming out from Hosan. Does manage to catch him in, and here goes Maluno. He wants to go aggressive. He's caught on towards Edward. Is it going to be enough? There's the bullet time. Not really catching enough, and you can see Alexic jumping in, though. Mouvet, crescendo catches on. Alexic's Guardian Angel was popped there. Mouvet's got to be careful. He's going to get the resets on towards Alexic. Alexic's still alive. Hosan does go down, though. That's a tragedy for Yamato Cannon. He's trying to run away from this one, and Dragonborn suddenly falling left, right, center. They're coming across the side there. The slow catches on towards Mouvet. The ball didn't come out. It's a double kill picked up for Genja, and now it's going to be Gambit shoving straight up the mid lane. They've got so much armor, they might even decide to try and push for the win here. 3-for-0 trade. Edward's even interrupting Shusha while Genja's decided to come and play. Now, ideally, they wanted him on the
turret to get in here, but Genja wants KDA. He is going for the kills, and he will get sooOn. That bullet time from Genja was actually really impressive. It dropped 50% of Hosan and Moveit's HP before they even got into the fight. So they immediately went from being the aggressors to being aggressed upon, ran backwards, and obviously Darien and Diamondprox just rushed straight through. So free inhibitor, and expect Gambit to set up for Baron now.
Yeah, that's going to be super minions going up that mid lane. There's a giant wave going down the top lane for Dragonborns, but it's going to get stopped very quickly. And, well, Alex is just going to pick himself up a hell of a lot of gold right there. So that's going to give him some nice chunk of change. Not that he really needs it because he's already on the max build. He's just going to go back and stack a couple more potions in there, get a bit of a disco dance color going.
Yeah, it gets the aura going, Super Saiyan power, as it were. And obviously power buffing himself up. You'll probably see him picking up an Oracle's Elixir as well, just making some of that gold actually go to use and denying the vision from Dragonborns. As you can see, he's got the pink eye going, and now he's setting up for Baron. The rest of Gambit are getting some vision. They're just going to let themselves know if Dragonborns try to defend, they can jump in there and immediately pick up more kills. So now with a 12,000 gold lead, or sorry, 11,000 gold lead, Gambit they've got map presence, and Yamato, he's just not on the same page as the rest of Dragonborns. He needed teleport to be trying the strat. Look at Gambit in the jungle. They are setting up for kills. They want to fight, and it's because they have the ability to win with that massive item advantage. There is no stand united from Darien, though, so this will be a 4v4 if they pick a battle.
But there's a 4v4 they can't win. They've proved it 5 times already. Are Dragonborns not reading the same strategy that we're seeing right now?
I definitely think they're not 100% on the same page. Gambit, they want Blade to either make it rain come down. They've got the slow.
They do manage to get the slow, and look at that. Crescendo comes out, Shockwave goes in. Hosan's still just about alive. The resets going to come out here, and immediately they can see there's the kill for Alex Ich. Now they're going to get on towards sooOn. sooOn caught out. Oh, make it rain, slows him down. The voice box didn't catch on towards him. Yamato Cannon goes in, gets the assassination. Guardian Angels comes out. sooOn's going to catch on towards Diamond. Diamond's caught out. Yamato Cannon does get taken down. There's kill again, and Mubert, the last man standing in the base. Here come the super minions, and here comes the win. So that was Gambit.
Yep, that was a 4v4 to begin with. It became a 4v5 at the end, in which case Gambit actually won that so convincingly. Stand United comes down just to defend some of Diamondprox's HP. They're just going to chunk down this Nexus. A great showing from Dragonborns. They fought hard and they fought long, but just a few missteps in this mid and late game cost them the matchup.
Yeah, and there it is. That's the win. So Gambit finally taking it away, 21-11, 8-3 in turrets, and